tariffs have helped. It's given us not only the money, it's billions, trillions of dollars of money, but it gives us great power over enemies.
After this week's briefing from Prime Minister Mark Carney, it remains unclear whether Canada will clinch a U.S. trade deal by August 1st.
Donald Trump has never been known for subtlety, but this week's events have pushed him into an entirely different territory. The former president is fuming, and for once, the cause of his rage isn't coming from Beijing, Brussels, or even his political rivals in Washington. This time, it's coming from north of the border, Canada. In a move that sent shockwaves through the energy and automotive industries, Canada announced it would halt all nickel exports to the United States, directly in response to Trump's newly announced tariff on electric vehicles. The drama started when Trump unveiled what he called a necessary measure to protect American car manufacturers, a sweeping tariff targeting imported electric vehicles.
I'm always concerned with Donald Trump because he changes his mind every single day, it seems. But we don't have to take a backseat to anyone. We should never take a backseat.
On paper, it was meant to force companies to build more EVs in the United States. In reality, it ruffled feathers far beyond the EV market. Canada, a country that has long been one of America's most reliable suppliers of raw materials, saw the move as an insult, and more importantly, as an economic threat.
Our hosts around the world, and again, we're their number one customer, and they need to start respecting their number one customer.
Nickel is no small matter in this equation. It's a critical component in the batteries that power electric vehicles, and Canada happens to be one of the largest and most reliable suppliers in the world. Without it, EV production in the United States could grind to a crawl. Automakers already struggling to scale up production would be facing shortages, skyrocketing costs, and potential layoffs. Within hours of the tariff announcement, Canadian officials held a press conference that made it clear they weren't going to take the hit quietly. The message was blunt. If Trump wanted to play hardball with EV tariffs, Canada was ready to hit back where it hurt. Effective immediately, they would halt all nickel exports to the U.S., redirecting the supply to European and Asian markets eager to secure long-term contracts. The reaction from Trump was explosive. In a rally just days later, he launched into an extended tirade, accusing Canada of economic warfare and betraying the friendship between the two countries. He painted the move as an attack not just on him, but on American workers. "They're trying to choke us," he told the crowd, his voice rising with each sentence. "Well, we're not going to let them. We have plenty of nickel here, more than they do, and we're going to dig it up, refine it, and win." The problem, of course, is that while the U.S. does have nickel reserves, production is nowhere near the scale required to meet current demand. Mining projects take years to develop, and environmental approvals are notoriously slow. Automakers know this, and they're already warning that without Canadian supply, the EV industry could face delays that ripple through the economy.
At the top of the segment, I mentioned an electric vehicle revolution. Could these tariffs interrupt that revolution?
Some analysts predict that prices for electric vehicles could spike by as much as 15% in the coming year if the standoff continues. In Ottawa, Canadian leaders have made it clear they aren't bluffing. The nickel ban is a strategic move designed to hit Trump where it stings the most, his image as a defender of American manufacturing. By cutting off a vital supply chain component, they're forcing the U.S. to confront the fact that even the most America-first policies can backfire in a globally interconnected economy. Prime Minister's aides have hinted that the ban will remain in place for as long as necessary, and some insiders say they're even considering expanding the restrictions to include cobalt and lithium, two other key battery metals. Meanwhile, Trump's allies in Congress are split. Some are echoing his tough talk, calling for tariffs on Canadian steel, lumber, and agricultural goods in retaliation. Others are quietly urging him to back down, warning that the U.S. simply isn't prepared for a raw materials trade war. It's one thing to talk tough on the campaign trail, one Republican senator reportedly said behind closed doors, but if this drags on, our own industries will be the ones paying the price.
1 year ago, they said your country was dead, and now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We do. We have the hottest country in the world right now.
Automakers, caught in the middle, are scrambling to adjust. Companies that have invested heavily in EV production lines are now looking at alternative supply sources, but none can match Canada's combination of quality, proximity, and reliability. Some have even begun lobbying for the tariff to be suspended until a resolution is reached, fearing that prolonged tension could derail years of progress in transitioning to electric fleets. For Trump, however, backing down is not an option, or at least, that's how he's framing it. He's using the standoff as proof that foreign governments can't push America around anymore, framing Canada's actions as proof that his policies are hitting hard.
And President Trump ran on a mandate to lower costs, to create more jobs. This is going to do exactly the opposite.
In his speeches, he's cast himself as the lone figure willing to take on not just adversaries, but even allies who he believes take advantage of the U.S. "We've been too nice for too long," he thundered at a rally in Michigan. "That's over. They want to cut off our nickel? We'll show them we don't need it." But in the background, reality is setting in. Industry experts point out that it would take years and billions of dollars to build the domestic nickel mining and refining capacity needed to replace Canadian imports. And even if the U.S. did ramp up production, environmental opposition could stall projects indefinitely.
The president going down that road, because every tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans. That's exactly what's going to happen.
The tariffs have helped. It's given us not only the money, it's billions, trillions of dollars of money, but it gives us great power over enemies.
In the meantime, prices for nickel on the global market have already surged, and battery manufacturers are warning of potential shortages as other countries move to lock in Canadian supply. The political fallout is just as volatile. Trump's opponents are seizing on the crisis as evidence that his America First policies are actually hurting American industries. They point to the irony of a tariff meant to strengthen the EV market, instead triggering a supply chain crisis that could set it back years. Environmental groups, meanwhile, are torn. Some see the slowdown in EV production as a setback for climate goals, while others view it as an opportunity to push for alternative battery technologies that don't rely as heavily on nickel.
Parts, so he has to take that in consideration, or they're going to see a lot of Canadians buying anything but American cars.
Well, first of all, I have to tell you, Canadians love Americans. We love the U.S. It's one person that's causing these problems.
In Canada, the mood is defiant. Officials say they're prepared for short-term economic pain if it means protecting their industries and standing up to what they view as protectionist bullying. They've framed the move as not just a trade dispute, but a test of sovereignty, refusing to let their economy be dictated by U.S. tariffs.
Bottom line is, if you're trying to buy a car, this is bad news. It's going to be more expensive, and it's probably going to put a pinch on supplies, both in the new market and the used market.
The Canadian public, too, seems largely supportive, with polls showing a majority backing the nickel ban, even if it sparks a prolonged trade standoff. For now, the situation shows no signs of cooling down. Both sides are digging in, and each new public statement seems to push them further apart. The U.S. automotive industry is bracing for a rocky year, with analysts warning that if the impasse stretches into the next model cycle, it could have long-term effects on competitiveness in the global EV market. Trump, never one to miss an opportunity for political theater, seems ready to ride the controversy into the next election cycle.
After this week's briefing from Prime Minister Mark Carney, it remains unclear whether Canada will clinch a U.S. trade deal by August 1st.
Well, it's significant right now, but what we're getting the sense of, these automakers are really hoping that this is temporary.
Portraying himself as the only leader willing to stand up to unfair trade, even from so-called friends. Whether that stance will resonate with voters feeling the pinch of higher prices remains to be seen. What's clear is that this is more than just a fight over tariffs or metal. It's a high-stakes battle over the future of North American trade, the global race for EV dominance, and the delicate balance between economic nationalism and the realities of a connected world. And for Trump, who thrives on conflict, it's the perfect storm, a chance to flex, to rally his base, and to prove once again that he's willing to go to war, economically or otherwise, to get his way.